Hey guys, welcome back to Andy Shaw's YouTube channel. Now that we are done with Gautam Buddha and Mahavira, we will go to the Persians and the Greek invaders. In 520 BC, the Persian kings Darius and Sevius invaded northwest India and conquered the Indus Valley. The Persians ruled that part of India for about a century and a half. In the meantime, Aryan kings continued to flourish in the east. Soon after, soon after, the Greeks, headed by Alexander the Great, Sikandar, जिसको बोलते हैं, Alexander the Great of Macedonia, invaded parts of northwestern India, conquering lands along the way. Alexander's army crossed the Indus Valley and engaged in an epic battle with the local ruler of Punjab, Raja Puru or King Porus. After Alexander's victory, he was so impressed by Puru's bravery that he made an alliance with him and appointed him the general of the land. Although Alexander won, his troops rebelled and refused to go any further than present-day Jalandhar. They had heard rumors that a mighty Indian army waited on the other side to fight them. The River thus marks the end of his conquered lands. Soon Alexander left India after naming some of his generals as governors or satraps of the conquered provinces. But in a few years, Indian forces chased out most of the generals. Both the Persian and the Greek invasions greatly influenced the political system of India. The region of Gandhar, today's Afghanistan, and northwestern Pakistan became a mix of cultures: Indian, Persian, Central Asian, and Greek. This gave rise to a new culture, the Greco-Buddhism. This lasted until the 5th century. After Alexander's departure, a powerful ruler named Chandragupta Maurya invaded central and western India. By 316 BC, the empire, with its capital at Patliputra or modern day Patna, had fully occupied northwestern India. The king was aided in his conquests by his famous minister Chanakya, also known as Kautilya. In fact, it was Chanakya who encouraged Chandragupta to take over Magad from the Nanda dynasty. Chandragupta used an intelligence network, gathering many young men from across Magad and other provinces. These were the men upset over the corrupt rule of King Dhana of the Magad. Chandragupta then gathered enough resources needed for his army to fight a long series of battles. These men included the former general of Takshila, other accomplished students of Chanakya, the representative of the Himalaya king Porus of, of Kaikai, his son Malaiketu, and the rulers of small states. Slowly and with an elaborate plan in place, Chandragupta Maurya took over the throne of Magad. The empire went on to become one of the most widespread and powerful political and military rule in India. The empire stretched from the north along the boundaries of the Himalayas to the east of today's Assam. To the west, it reached present-day Pakistan and large parts of Afghanistan. Under Chandragupta and his successors, trade and agriculture flourished thanks to a single efficient system of finance and administration. Chanakya, in the meanwhile, went on to write the Arthashastra, one of the greatest collection of essays on economics, politics, foreign affairs, administration, military arts, war, and religion ever produced. Chandragupta Maurya established a single currency across India. He put a place He put in place a network of regional governors and administrators. A sound civil service provided justice and security for merchants, farmers, and traders. The Mauryan Empire wiped out gangs of bandits, private armies, and powerful chiefs who tried to establish their supremacy. The Mauryans also sponsored many public works and waterways to enhance productivity. In 305 BC, Chandragupta was once again in conflict with the Greeks. Seleucus Nicator, or Seleucus, the ruler of the Seleucid Empire, launched a campaign to reconquer parts of northwest India. The campaign failed, and the two rulers signed a peace treaty. The Greek ruler received 500 war elephants from Chandragupta that played an important role in his future conquests abroad. The Greeks and the Indians then managed and maintained good relations with each other. Several Greek historians and scholars like Megasthenes, Demikos, and Dionysius attended Chandragupta's court. Under Chandragupta Maurya, the religious movement of Jainism gained popularity. Thousands of Jain temples and stupas were built during the reign of the Mauryas. As Chandragupta grew old, he renounced the throne and joined a group of wandering Jain monks. Chandragupta was succeeded by his son Bindusara around 298 BC. After him came one of the greatest emperors India has ever seen, uh, Ashokvardhan Maurya, or better known as Ashok the Great. As a young king, Ashoka was a mighty warrior, ambitious and greedy. He asserted that he asserted the empire's hold in southern and western India. He waged several wars and conquered lands far and wide. But one particular event, the Kaling War, changed the entire course of his life. Kaling was a rich and fertile land situated between the Godavari and Mahanadi River. This was the only land that was untouched by the Mauryan rule. Kaling forms of what is today the state of Orissa. The people of Kaling were fiercely independent and had refused to bow down to Ashoka's rule for years. One day Ashoka heard rumors that they were going to attack the kingdom. Furious, he gathered his armies and marched to Kaling. A fierce battle ensued. Swords glinted dangerously, drawing blood and wails of pain. Arrows flew back and forth, taking lives. The Kaling army was fearless and was not ready to give up. Brave though they were, the Kaling soldiers were no match for Ashoka's power and skill. Soon the Kaling army was defeated, and Ashoka won the most glorious victory of his life. But strangely, he found no joy. He felt no joy. He stood on the battlefield, looking out at the hundreds of bodies that lay there. He was filled with remorse, realizing that the war had been pointless, and he had just succeeded in creating widows and orphans. Ashoka then wept in grief and regretted the terrible sights he had seen haunted his dreams and moment, every waking moment. He finally made a momentous decision to stop fighting any more wars. Ashoka now turned to dharma or righteousness. He found solace in the teaching of Buddha. He embraced the message of love and kindness that Buddhism taught. He now made a number of changes in his empire. He gave up hunting and forbade the killing of animals except for food. He ruled that all religions were equal and none was superior to the other. He began a campaign to spread dharma across the country. He traveled widely ordering the laws of dharma to be etched on stone pillars, and rocks to ensure that they would remain forever and be readily available for people to read and practice. To this day, his carvings are found in Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka. Outside the countries, these inscriptions have been found in Peshawar and Kandahar in Pakistan and Afghanistan respectively. They have also been found on the borders of Nepal. Ashoka erected several pillars, stupas, and Buddhist viharas, that is dormitories, all over India. The stupa of Sanchi are world famous, especially the stupa named Sanchi, Stupa 1. The Ashok pillar at Sarnath is the most popular of the relics left by Ashoka. A 50-foot tall stone pillar stands proudly at the top of which are carved four majestic lions. Today the Ashok pillar, as it is known, is the official emblem of the government of India. The Ashok Chakra, found at the bottom of the pillar, now adorns the flag of India. This symbolizes kingship and earthly rule. The government's adoption of this symbol is indeed a true tribute to the great king. Ashoka also paid great attention to education. He founded the University of Magad in Nalanda, and its students were learned and much respected. Ashoka developed his kingdom by building canals for agriculture, roads to encourage business and trade, guest houses for travelers, and provided free medical aid to the common man. The empire blossomed under his rule. Beautiful trees lined wide roads, many of which were rare fruit trees and medicinal plants brought from far off places. He was the first emperor to build a hospital for the treatment of animals. Ashoka lived for his people, working hard without any rest, teaching them the right way to live their lives. There was happiness and peace in the kingdom. Neighboring kingdoms, which he could easily have conquered, became reliable allies. Ashoka's children, Mahendra, Sangamitra, Kunal, Tivla, and Tishya, also converted to Buddhism and traveled all around spreading their father's ideas. But all was not rosy in the kingdom for long. For 17 years, everything had run smoothly. After that, some of the Buddhist monks began to misbehave, became lazy, and gave in to evil ways. Ashoka received reports from his trusted officers. Ashoka then invited all serious-minded monks to a conference at Patliputra. Soon, a large number of monks from all over the country gathered at Ashokaram in Patliputra, and a religious conference began. Ashoka's son, Shishya, presided over the conference. Ashoka spoke to each and every monk. He asked them many questions and discussed Buddhist teachings and principles. After after the conference, Buddhism gained new strength. Ashoka now spread the religion to far off places by sending Buddhist monks. Soon there were monks in Syria, Egypt, Macedonia, Burma, and Kashmir, teaching the virtues of the religion. His own children, Mahendra and Sangamitra, were sent to Ceylon, that is, present day Sri Lanka, to spread Buddhism. In fact, it is due to Ashoka's efforts that Buddhism spread to the countries of East Asia. Ashoka also built cave dwellings, rest houses, and Buddha viharas in large numbers, which testify not only to his dedication but also to his penchant for skillful architecture. All his messages were written in Prakrit rather than in Sanskrit language. While translating the scripts, historians have learned the bulk of what is known as the of the Mauryan Empire. By now, Ashoka's empire had spread and had included a large part of India, Afghanistan, Balochistan, Nepal, Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, and a big portion of today's Karnataka. Several of his inscriptions have been found in these places. Ashoka now reorganized his empire. He divided the empire into four provinces: Malav, Punjab, Dakshinpata, and Kalinga. Takshashila, Ujjain, Suvarnagri, and Kosala were the capitals. Thus, prosperity continued until Ashoka turned old. Sadly, his old age was not one of peace and serenity. Since his sons were busy traveling the world and spreading his teachings, a quarrel arose over who would succeed Ashoka. His grandsons Dashrath and Samprati were each anxious to be the next king, to be the next emperor, that is. In the last year of his life, Ashoka became frustrated with the petty fighting and took off on a pilgrimage. After wandering around, he finally reached Takshila and stayed there. He lived as a monk, fasting, meditating, and leading an austere life. He also focused all his energy on the teachings of Buddhism. At the age of 72, in 232 BC, Ashoka breathed his last. He left behind a reputation as an able ruler, a righteous lawmaker, a hero, a monk, and a noble preacher of dharma. That is why another name for him is Devanam Priyadarshi. Devanam Priyadarshi. The first name means beloved of the gods, and second is one whose appearance brings joy. Though it has been 2 years, more than 2000 years since his death, his legacy of truth, love, and compassion lives on in the minds of people all across the world. Ashoka was the last of the great kings of Mauryan dynasty. Those who succeeded him were not as capable or dynamic and could not continue the Mauryan dynasty for long. In 184 BC, the last of the Mauryan king was killed and Sunga dynasty was established. This was followed by the Kanva dynasty, but these did not last long either.